So this is the most recent project that my wife has handed to me to do this. The black background will not be part of it. And the original image that we got for the logo does not have the black background on there. What I'm going to do is the entire thing's going to be a satin stitch. All of these lines, the lettering, everything's going to be a satin stitch. I'm going to see what I can do to get away with using some Inkstitch lettering. There's no Inkstitch lettering for this, so I'll have to recreate that. So let's get started. This is kind of going to be less of a tutorial and more of my workflow, how I proceed in doing things to create custom embroidery pieces on a commercial basis. People paying us to put their logo on their shirt. This will be a pocket, so my size is going to be about 3.5 to 4 inches wide. And document properties. To get to document properties is File, Document Properties. It'll bring up this window. I set my width to 4 and I stay inside that. So I usually end up right around 3.5 inches wide on my designs. In trying to figure out how I'm going to design it as far as satin stitches go, and how outside of their lines that I can get. When you're doing the satin stitch, your ideal satin stitch is going to be a 1.5 mil column. You can go less. You can go a 1 mil column and get away with it. Anything much less than that, your machine might have issues with. You can, if you go less than that, decrease your density, increase your distance between stitches will help, so that it's not putting stitches on top of stitches. So one of the things that I do is I grab this ruler tool right here, and I'm just going to measure, hold it down, measure across. That's about a 110. I'll probably go 1.2 mil on these columns here. And then over here, this main piece of a letter is a 1.3, 1.4, something like that. Now this right here, I'm not going to be able to go this narrow. That's only 0.2 mil. I will definitely have to make that part of the lettering bigger. And then this lettering here is, to get a 1 mil, I have to be that much bigger. So I will probably do it. I might go 0.8 or 0.9. 0.9's right there. That would probably be a pretty good translation. But that's one thing to look at and measure your lines to see where you're at. So I measured this line at a 1.2 mil, so that's what I'll make my column. So just go right straight into this tool and start drawing around. You know what I didn't do? Grab that image and set the opacity down so that we can see what's going on a little better. Now I can do my design. Put my design around the outside. And since we already know the size we want, all we have to do is put that right here, 1.2 mil. Grab the nodes tool, Control All. Hit that little button to make them smooth. Not. There's a couple of these that I need to adjust a little bit. That one's good. Okay. That's probably good. Grab extensions, Inkstitch, Satin Tools, Convert Line to Satin. Still on my nodes tool, I'm going to grab this, pull this one down in a little more and pull that one up a little. Same thing here. I'm going to grab these and delete. And then just grab that one, pull it down. I think I deleted one too many, didn't I? Probably. Grab these two on the end. Hit delete. Okay, that's better. And then grab this one and pull it down. So that should be good. I need a color. I'm going to grab my colored eyedropper tool and come in here and hit shift and click. Now my column is the right color. I can go right straight on to the next one. What I'm going to do though is I'm going to go right about here and just draw it down to somewhere there and create that as a running stitch. We want that to be the same color, so again, I'm going to make that there we go. I don't want it to be okay. Now we're probably good. Strange. Did that do that too? Did. I don't want that. Okay. It's because I have the opacity. I'm grabbing the color of the image, which has a half opacity, so it's setting my color also at a half opacity. So that's fine. We can get around it. We can work around it. So we'll grab this, bring this up around. It's okay. You notice that on the end of this, on the ends of these are kind of pointy. It's okay to have a little bit of the end being less than that one, around that 1 millimeter range. That's fine. Won't hurt a thing. As long as you're not doing the whole length of the item at much less than a 1 mil, you'll be fine. So let's go into here. We're doing a 1.2. Grab nodes tool, select all, make them smooth. That was good. One actually worked really well. Excellent. Excellent. Alrighty. Extensions, Inkstitch, Satin tools, convert line to satin. Okay, I'm going to grab that same eyedropper tool, but I'm not going to do it on the color below. I'm going to do it on this right here. Oh, did I unselect it? Try again. Bingo. Bingo, bango. Excellent. Okay, grab the nodes tool, and I got a lot of nodes, so I'm going to do a simplify, and that is path simplify. Now I have less nodes to work with. It makes it easier to work on the item. When you do that, be careful, because sometimes it'll take out too many nodes and it won't be the same design. If it does something you don't like, Control Z, Control Z is your friend. So now I'm going to grab these couple on the end and pull them closer together. Not too much, but still have the same effect as the original design. So that end's good. Probably go a little bit more. So we'll go with that. And then we'll come down here on this end and do the same thing. It's a whole lot easier after you get rid of having too many nodes. And again, if it changes your object too much, Control Z will undo it. Or you can go to edit and undo whatever. Your last thing here will be your undo. So we've got that. That looks good. We're going to those are pretty much the same thing. So I'm going to duplicate that. I'm going to drag it over here. Since we simplified it, there's not going to be too many nodes that I have to move. So on this, you notice just between here and there is only a 1/2 mil. That doesn't leave a lot of room. So I'm actually going to leave this out and move this down so that this little S sort of design shape is going to be taller and there's going to be more room in between. That's a 1/2 mil. That's a third. That's a 1/2 mil. So there's not much room in between there. The satin stitch is actually going to be wider than the distance in between the satin stitches. I'm going to keep one of those out. So I think what I'm going to do is just run like right about here, following that other design to about there. So our design part of the design is actually done as far as I know. I'm going to grab all of them. Well, except for that one, which I think is that. Okay. Go to extensions, Inkstitch, Rams. Keep the 0.4. I'm going to give it a 0.1 pull comp. Don't want to go much more than that because it would end up being a bigger design. That looks pretty good. Okay, oops. And I think I'm going to give them all a center walk. Yeah. Okay, I like that. So then I'm going to take all of these that I just did, right click and group. So there is my design group. And now we can move on to the Tricities Group. And we'll just scoot it all back over. Not sure how I did that, but there you go. Okay, so keep in mind, I did say that we definitely have to make that wider. For sure. And what I'm going to do here, I'm going to draw a straight line from the top of this. And I'm holding the control button down to make sure that the line is absolutely straight. And I'm going to draw it over here. Hit enter to make it happen. And then I'm going to do it again on the bottom. So that is I need to stay inside this area line, my lineup line, whatever you want to call it. Okay. And I think that needs to come down just a hair. So something like that and something like that. Okay. We need to stay inside the lines. Just like when you were a kid, you color inside the lines. Of those two lines, I'm going to delete and not have it part of our piece. And I think I'm going to drop both of those down one. Okay. Okay. We're going to come in here. I'm going to auto path. I'm going to set my own path for this stitch. Grab there. It's going to go Measure it again just to make sure. Yeah, we're going to go with a 1.5 on that. 1.5. Extensions, Inkstitch, Satin tools, convert line to satin. I'm going to do the colors later. I'm going to make my own running stitch down to here. And then make our next column there to there. Grab my node tool because I made it a little bit too long here. Okay, we're going to make that one a 1. Let's see what that looks like. I think that'll be fine. Yeah, I think that'll be just fine. So extensions, Inkstitch, Satin tools, convert line to satin. That'll be just fine. So this one's going to be interesting here. Oh, you know what? I want to grab these 3 and I'm going to put them in a group. And then after I get the Tricities done, I'll grab all of the letters of Tricities and put them in a group too. So I'm going to keep that same vibe of a 1.5 on these columns, on the uprights. Extensions, Inkstitch, Satin tools, convert line to satin. Now this one I'm going to manually draw out. Select all, make it rounded, nice. I'm going to make this one a little fatter. You can see a 1 mil by looking at this column over here. I'm going to go a little bit less, but still a little bit more than what that original design is. And then I'm kind of guessing somewhere in that vicinity. Nope. Nodes tool, Control A, nope. Control A, roundabout, nice. Make some columns. Grab my node tool, make that straight. Make that curve away a little bit better. Come down a little bit. Okay, I'm good with that. Grab all of those. Path, combine. Extensions, Inkstitch params. Custom satin column. Hit apply and quit. Same thing here. I'm going to draw this one out manually. So we have an eye coming up next. We already have an eye made. Duplicate it, drag it over. Hit Control so that it drags on a horizontal line. Drag it over. Same thing with the T, which is, what is it? It's that one. Control D for duplicate, drag it over. Got another eye. Control D, duplicate, press Control, drag it over. Okay. He's going to be a little more difficult. Not much, but yeah. So we'll do that. Go in here, set a 1.5. Now check this out. I'm going to go ahead and from there, I'm going to go ahead and do this. Set that one at a 1. Do this. Set that one also at a 1. And do this. Hate it when I do that. Set that one at a 1. Now I'm going to go in here. I'm going to grab each one of these e-lettering objects. Go to Extensions, Inkstitch, Satin Tools, Convert Line to Satin. Excellent. I'm going to grab the E objects again. Go to Extensions, Inkstitch, Satin Tools, Auto Route with Satin Columns. Hit Close. Just to make sure everything came out the way I want it, I'm going to go ahead and select that E and visualize it. That looks very good. And move on to the S. So the S is kind of like that C. It's got the big bulbous head. It's got the little narrow spot here. I'm going to exaggerate just a little bit fatter. Now we'll do the same thing over here. Swing it around. Exaggerate a little bit thicker area down here. Grab push shift so that I can select both of those objects. Nodes tool, Control A, round them out. Grab that tool, put a couple of rungs in there. Did I put that over long enough? I don't know if that's long. Grab all of the objects for the S. Extensions, Inkstitch params. Satin column. Nope. Yep. Path combine. That's the error you get when you forget to do path combine first. Now the params satin stitch will work. Outstanding. Okay, so that is done. I'm going to go ahead and remove these two lines. And that is the image lettering. I'm going to grab all of those lettering objects and group. Now I have a design group, a Tricities group, and now we'll do a senior massage. So I'm hoping I can cheat and use some Inkstitch lettering for this last part. Oh, something I forgot to do. Just going to grab all of that and where is the white on here? Right here. Hit Control and click that. So that's the right color now. Okay, I can go back to it. Okay, so Inkstitch lettering. There's only a couple of these that I think might work, and Inkstitch small is one of them. It is designed to be small, but I don't think it's designed to be that small. It says can be, no, it does not even say it can be scaled down. So we're just gonna try it. Add trims, caps, senior massage. Hit apply and quit. Grab that, bring it down here. It's actually pretty darn close. Get a zoom in. That's actually pretty close. Grab the E, push control, slide that over, and slide that over. I should be able to do this just by clicking now. Okay, that looks pretty good so far. A couple things that I didn't do yet. I need to go back into my original, the image part of my design over here. That path, that straight stitch, that path. So each so I think that right there will work. Extensions, Inkstitch, commands, attach command, and trim. Close. Grab this other part. That is the T. So the last thing stitched on the T, commands, attach command, trim. And then, oops, close that out. So that one, that's the I, the dash, the C, the I. So that one is the last thing in the R. We're going to attach command to that one. Trim. Close. So the I, holding control button to multi-select, dash or hyphen C, I. Extensions, Inkstitch, commands, attach command, trim. Hit close. And now we're to the T. Extensions, Inkstitch, commands, attach command, trim. Close. That is the I, and I'm going to hit control. Multi-select that. I'm going to open this up and multi-select that. Go into Inkstitch, commands, attach commands, trim. Hit close. And we should be good. So let's do a quick troubleshoot just to make sure. Everything should be fine and dandy. It's going to complain about my image still being in there. Image. Going to hide the image. Let's delete that troubleshoot layer. And let's do a preview. Inkstitch, visualize, simulate. And fast forward. Watch it stitch out. Outstanding. It looks really good. Okay, I'm going to save this. We're going to go do a quick test stitch. Let's see how it comes out. So there's my test run. Not bad. The design looks really good. Tricities, there's a few adjustments. I need to move that T up a little bit. That's not bad. So a few minor adjustments I think will be good. But that's a keeper. Other than a few minor adjustments, that's pretty good. So Sweetie went ahead and stitched it out on the item in question. Pretty good. Made my few little adjustments. Brought the T up a little bit. Probably could have went a little more. Other than that, it looks pretty good. I'm pretty happy with that. But that's kind of how the workflow goes when I'm creating or designing something based on somebody else's design, copying a logo. Just have to look at it, take some measurements, figure out how you're going to do it, what you're going to do, and then go from there. But other than that, I do believe this one is done. Till next time, thanks for watching.